Welcome to the overview on establishing motivating context for reading and encouraging text discussions. When students are taught reading comprehension in a motivating environment, they are more likely to become better readers. A motivating environment is one where there are engaging opportunities for students to read and discuss what they are reading. The purpose of reading is clearly conveyed, and there is a consistent focus on the larger goal of learning. Reading should be a prominent consideration in how K-3 classrooms are set up. Classroom libraries should be filled with books that are both interesting to students and clearly organized by theme, for example. Reading areas should have comfortable seating to help make reading together a pleasant experience. Giving choices also helps engage students. Teachers can allow students to choose from a variety of reading activities or centers, permit students to choose the order in which they complete their work, ask students what interests them, and lead them to relevant texts. Give students different ways to respond to what they've read, such as writing, discussing, or drawing, and allow students to choose from a selection of texts that serve an instructional purpose. Teachers can engage students through hands-on science activities, dramatic performances, and drawing or crafts that relate to what they read. For example, after reading about plants, a class might plant seeds in small pots. The teacher can help students make meaningful connections between what they've read and their experience. Reading comprehension activities should be challenging but attainable with effort so that students learn to appreciate the value of a challenge. Difficult texts and reading mistakes can be presented as opportunities to learn. Teachers should encourage students to face these challenges while helping them set goals, monitoring their progress, and providing positive feedback on their performance. This kind of support can increase students' motivation to read. Discussion about text is not only social and engaging, but helps students better understand what they are reading and gives teachers the opportunity to directly support students in their learning. By talking about important reading strategies such as questioning, summarizing, and rereading, students gain a clearer sense of how to approach texts. 4 factors contribute to the success of a whole group discussion. The first 2 are related to planning. Select texts that are compelling enough to spark a discussion, such as stories in which a character faces a real-world problem or dilemma. Create a discussion guide with higher-order questions that prompt students to think more deeply about the text. The other 2 factors relate to sustaining and expanding the discussion. Use follow-up questions that lead students to think about, elaborate on, and justify their answers. Questions like, "What makes you say that?" and "Can you explain what you meant?" Divide the class into smaller groups and ask students to discuss the text among themselves. Collaborative learning activities can be very motivating for students. Activities need to be carefully structured so that all students work together and see their individual contribution as valuable. Teachers can have students work in pairs to read and discuss a text, retell a story, identify main characters, or make predictions about how a story will end, learn interesting facts from informational texts, and perform stories in a skit or play format. It is important to meet kindergarten through 3rd grade students' needs when engaging in group discussions. Start with short discussions and then expand them as students develop their skills. Model discussion behavior. Post and refer to class guidelines for discussions. Give students time to formulate their thoughts. Before a discussion, give students questions to reflect on through either writing or drawing. Give students practice by having discussions frequently. Students may need assistance staying on task during group work. This may require close monitoring or assigning responsibilities to students in each group, such as keeping the discussion on task or asking questions. Younger students might perform better in pairs. Teachers can provide discussion aids like graphic organizers, pictures, or question prompts, which students can share and use in their discussion. Reflecting on group work as a class can lead to improvement over time. Students can do self-evaluations and talk with the teacher about what went well and what needs work. Creating a motivating classroom environment means offering choices and giving students frequent opportunities to talk about what they read. It involves shifting from thinking about reading as a solitary process to envisioning reading as active engagement with text and others.